I find sometimes people that have a sceptical viewpoint are very closed to anything. Sometimes I can be a little bit sceptical about things, but I've got a very open mind to everything, and I think that's so important to open your mind, because history changes and we find newer things.
Yeah.
And as you said about Einstein. Now, you a long time ago you stopped a cable car in mid-air in Germany.
Yes, correct.
Yeah, what happened there?
I did it for publicity. A local paper, a national paper, the equivalent of The Sun, is called Bild Zeitung. They went out with me for 10 days and they asked me to do spectacular things. And I didn't know really what to do. Again, it was the beginning of my career, so I tried to stop escalators, I tried to stop a cable car, and both things worked. Yeah. I could not believe it. I could not believe my own eyes that a cable car stopped in mid-air when I tried to stop it. Later on, I repeated it with a Big Ben.
Big Ben, yeah.
And it's, at those times, in a way, I was rather shallow. All I cared about was fame and fortune. I was on an ego trip. I wanted to be a super psychic superstar. Yeah. I circulated with amazing people from the entertainment industry, from Elvis Presley to John Lennon, and I just wanted to be among them.
Yeah.
So I did very strange and quirky and bizarre things.
Yeah. I think one of the things that I actually find as well is that people aren't always aware of is your artistic side. You've got so many talents, and it's away from just the mind, psychokinesis and the bending the spoons, as you say. There's so much that you've done. And would you like to say a little bit about it?
When I was a child, I loved drawing. I was always first in my class in drawing and design.
Yeah.
And then in the early 70s, I met incredible painters like Picasso, Andy Warhol, and then I met Dali. Salvador Dali was a surrealist, the greatest in the world in my opinion. And he freaked out when I bent a spoon for him, because for him, bending metal can only be on canvas.
Yeah.
Surreal. And here comes a guy, relatively a young guy. Look, there's a fox running across my garden. Relatively unknown person from Israel who held a spoon, stroked it with his finger, and the spoon bent. And when I handed it to him, to Dali, it continued bending in his hand. It totally shattered his concept of, the power of the mind and the energies of the universe. So we became friends, and he took me under his wing, and he taught me how to depart from my painting portraits of people, and I went into drawing and painting symbolisms of the universe and beyond, and I love this space of our mind, inner space, outer space, and I put those on canvas.
On canvas.
And obviously I had galleries, I sold my paintings, but I couldn't do everything, Richard.
No,
I was hugely then famous worldwide, so then I went into oil. I found oil from mining companies. So I had to decide what to do, and since entertainment and show business is what kind of motivates me and I love, I do that most of the time, but I also have a very well-known line of jewellery on QVC, which I appear on QVC many times a year with my line of rock crystal jewellery.
Yeah, my wife likes that.
Lovely. Give her my love.
I will. Now, obviously, you did have the car with the spoons.
Yep.
Is that here now? Or
yes, before you go, I'll show you the car.
Lovely.
When I was, as I said before, on the ego trip of Uri Geller, the fame and fortune segment of my life, I went out and bought a 1976 Fleetwood Brougham, kind of to show off to my friends that I made it.
Yeah.
I mean, it just shows you how small, how small-minded I was then. I just saw the... I was yearning to be successful. And it's understandable because I came from a poor family.
Exactly.
I promised my mother that I will buy her television, and I'll bring her out to America, and I'll buy her someday a house. And so I really wanted it so badly. And then when I came to live in England, I'm related to Sigmund Freud.
I was going to mention that because that's another hero of mine,
really?
Freud. So.
And Lucian Freud and Clement Freud convinced me to come and live in England. I met Clement with Richard Branson on the inauguration flight of Virgin Atlantic.
Yeah.
And he said to me, "Hey, why do you live in New York? Your children are small. They should go through a British educational system." And I agreed with him because I went through a British educational system. I went through GCE in Cyprus. Yeah. My father was in the British Army, so I had a lot of British kind of influences and paraphernalia around me, medals of King George and the Star of Africa that my father got, and my father's British Army uniform.
Amazing, yeah.
So there was a psychological influence. And then I came to live here, and I said, what am I going to do with a Cadillac? I was offered $800 for it. I said, no way. So I brought the car over. And one day I decided to rivet all my famous spoons to the body of the car.
To the body of the car.
So a spoon that Elvis gave me, and I got presidents, prime ministers, you name it, singers, film stars. So the car goes to museums. I raise money for charity with the car.
Lovely. I was going to say about the charity work that you do as well, because we've actually, you've got is it Uri Geller Charitable Foundation?
Yes.
Yeah. And also the Red Cross, you get involved with that.
Yes.
People find that on your website?
Yes. My website is quite comprehensive, and it's very large. It's almost it's bigger than CNN's website.
Yeah.
But yes, I was asked to negotiate for the Israeli Red Cross by the head of the Israeli Red Cross, which is called Magen David Adom, to influence the Palestinian Red Crescent, which is equivalent of the Red Cross, to sign an amicable agreement with the Israelis, because both nations, both Israel and Palestine, were not accepted into the International Red Cross because of the fighting.
Yeah.
Anyhow, it took us 3 years to do, and I did everything I could. From the State Department, Condoleezza Rice, the President of Switzerland, and after 3 grueling years, with a lot of bent spoons along the way, which actually the President of Switzerland mentioned in the...
I saw that.
They signed, and both Palestine and Israel got into the International Red Cross. So anything that is to advance peace or humanitarian projects, I built that pyramid that you see there.
I see.
Mohammed Al-Fayed, where we fly terminally ill children from Israel and Palestine.
So lovely.
I motivate them. I'm not a healer, but I motivate kids who are sick to believe in themselves, to work with their doctors, to take their medicine. And I try to find enough time in my life to help children in need.
Yeah, I think that's incredible. And I think there's so much that you do, and I just want people to be aware of everything else. You also do the motivational speeches.
Yes.
And again, that's going on to people being positive. I've worked in roles in my life where I've had to be positive, and I've had to motivate myself day by day.
Yes, you see, Richard, as I told you, when I was young, I'm talking about now the late 60s, the 70s and the 80s, my shows were mainly kind of mentalism. And then I realized that through mentalism, people view me from a different perspective, which opens the door to motivate them and inspire them. I became a catalyst. I became a trigger. I became an enabler to them because they believed in what they saw. So if I told them stop smoking, or believe in yourself, or go out there and make it, don't take no for an answer. If you can go there with your mind, you can go there with your body. Whatever you visualize, you can materialize. because your thoughts can become things. The people actually turn my words into tangible, actionable help into their lives.
Yeah.
So they use what I say.